Hey everybody, it's Sybil. I'm Sybil Wilkes, and looking like the wise, funny professor, it is the one and only Rudy Rush, comedian extraordinaire. How you doing, Rudy?
I'm good. I'm good. I never thought I would be the wise professor.
Well, look at you. You know the way you were stroking your beard, and you're like, looking, just kind of looking off into the distance.
I'm in my late 40s now, and this gray is really starting to take a hold of itself. So I'm just trying to let it do what it does.
Okay, well, it's doing very well.
Thank you.
Okay, you're looking good there, darling. You're looking good. Rudy, thank you for coming in today. I so appreciate it. I love working with you, as you know, and I'm really glad you were able to join us today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on with you, Sybil. Even
Uh,
though we have that court thing going on between you and I, but
we you know what? We're not going to talk about
okay,
that.
okay, my
Okay.
bad. We
Okay.
both love the kids. We both
Yeah,
love the
that's
kids.
right. That's right. That's right. She knows that we're good because we love her. Right. Right. All right. So George Wallace is off working on a project today, so he will not be with us. So Rudy has graciously stepped in, and as I said, it is just great to work with him despite the legalities that we have. Um, Rudy, the last time I saw you was you were on stage and you were bringing on our friend David Arnold
Yes, you know
at the
what?
Arlington Improv.
Yeah, David Arnold, who actually people just remember that name, David Arnold, of course, a friend of Sybil Wilkes and myself. He's actually probably going to be one of the next comics that is ascending to some greatness,
Yeah.
some notoriety
Hmm.
nationally and internationally. And we've been friends for years. So my time in Los Angeles and of course doing shows around the country, he and I had a kinship, but it all kind of culminated when we played some basketball. He didn't know that, being from New York City, I had a level of skill.
You had the
He tried to
game.
test me one day.
Uh-huh. He's just from Cleveland. He doesn't know about the dudes on the basketball courts in New York.
No, he wasn't a kid from Akron, okay? So I gave him the business. But no, he's a fantastic talent, and David Arnold, much like his partner Kim Whitley, a lot of people know them and don't, but more people are going to know them in the near future. So I was excited to just be able to bring them on stage. So yeah, and it was good to see you that night.
It was great to see you. I was pleasantly surprised to see you there, and then to just roll on the floor with the comedy stylings of Rudy Rush. It was good stuff. Really good stuff.
Well, I was actually happy because you never come to any of my shows. So I was like,
Get the,
here's an
okay.
opportunity.
So get in line because Huggy and Chris say that, and you just get in line. And
Here's an opportunity to perform for Sybil Wilkes.
well, you did, and you did really well. So, and you are so smart and so funny with your comedy, which I absolutely love. So
Thank you.
it's great to see you. Where are you working these days?
Well, I'm all over the place. I've been actually doing a lot of tour dates with Bill Bellamy, who's actually another comic who, of course, has a large level of fame, but he's
Hmm.
actually working on his stand up. And I mean, I'm telling you, as a stand up comedian, this dude has something that everybody needs to kind of be careful and be ready for. So
Mm,
I've been doing some dates with him. We'll be in Buffalo next week, which is
cool.
the end of the month, and then in Houston on the 10th through the 12th, or the 12th through the 14th, excuse me. So I'm doing a lot of dates with him and doing a lot of dates on my own. So now that I'm not doing radio anymore, I've been doing a lot of dates around the country. So been very lucky to be able to do some of those things.
Yeah. So for people to follow you and want to go and check out where you're performing, how do they find you?
Oh yeah, RudyRushOnline.com, or follow me at Rudy Rush on Instagram, Facebook. Listen, if you're over 50 and you still got a MySpace page and you cute,
Holla.
I'm still on there, mama. Come find me.
So Rudy, let's talk about what's going on in the news. Let's talk some topics and
Yes.
of interest, and I want to gauge your interest on some of these things that are going on as we speak. We're in the middle of jury selection in the Ahmaud Arbery case in
Mm,
Georgia, right?
yes.
Okay, so we know the situation with this case. A young black man, 25 years old, jogging in a suburban area of Brunswick, Georgia. Three white men follow him, actually two in a truck and another in a truck behind them follow him, father and son. They jump out. The son jumps out, shoots, and kills Ahmaud Arbery as he is running on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm,
The car behind them is recording this. This is their
Yes.
friend, right? And so now, finally, after over a year and a half after the murder, and months before they were finally charged, they are now in court, and jury selection has begun. Rudy,
Yeah.
right?
And a modern day lynching, of course. I don't, I know this show we like to have a lot of fun and tell jokes and stuff like that. But honestly, as an African American, we're living in a state of, I don't know if this is a word, extra wokeness. People have more
Yes.
awareness of what's going on around them.
Extra
And to
wokeness is
see,
good.
yeah, and to see what's going on and how people are treated as it pertains to us. Even it lends to the situation what's going on in comedy with people like Dave Chappelle saying that, hey,
Yeah.
Black lives are really not being considered when you just deal with the regular everyday of life. Those men, and then the men who record, that's a modern day lynching. So
Yeah.
hopefully we won't get the same process as we've gotten in years prior, having a jury of, not Ahmaud Arbery's peers, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And hopefully these men are brought to and given the justice that they deserve. That was terrible.
So here's the thing, Rudy. They have summoned, well, first group of people they summoned 600. And they say jury selection is going very slowly because a lot of people is, it's hard to find somebody in this day and age in the technology that we have. It's hard to find somebody who said they've not heard anything about the case.
Yeah.
Right?
And yeah, with technology and the internet, you hear about everything. But I think they're having a lot of problems with Black people because we be like, I'm busy that week. We still don't want to be there.
And Rudy, that's a lot of it because they don't know how long this is going to last. Because some people are saying this is an open and shut case, and other people saying this could go on for a while. And people are coming in and going, yeah, I think they did it. Like, yeah. Okay, you're excused.
Like, no, because most women do not want to be sequestered because they have families that they have to tend for, jobs that they have. And men are like, if there's a cute chick in here, you can sequester me for 2 months. Put me in room 202. Okay?
and let us talk about things after we get out of the courtroom. Yeah. Well, they say that this is going very slowly, so it'll be interesting. This is still the as they are going on, but I thought it was really interesting. 600 people called immediately, then another 400 are on standby.
Wow.
And this is to get 12 jurors and 4 alternates.
Man, that's a lot. You know what I mean? I couldn't get that many people at my cousin's funeral. I'm like, I know he owe us all money, but God.
Especially if there was like, and you're not gonna get paid while you're there. Exactly. All right, so things are crazy in Washington D.C. As you know, they have been for the last 4 years, and now crazier still with the Republicans that are not allowing anything to happen for the good of the country, right? And so there's they can't get past the filibuster. They can't do a number of things without some Republicans join in the conversation and the vote. Well, they had an interesting vote in Washington, D.C., in which the House voted on whether to hold Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's snuggle buddy, in contempt of Congress. The House voted, not the Senate, but the House voted. And the interesting thing is, Rudy, 9 Republicans voted with the Democrats to hold Steve Bannon in contempt.
Wow. Sometimes it comes from, listen, it happened one time. I remember one time, I'm going to give you the best example. I was in high school and we didn't beat this one team for 13 years, right? I wasn't even in high school when we started that streak. And we won off of a last minute second. And let me tell you, so many people didn't like me, but we was cheering that we won. People was punching me in the stomach. I was like, you on my team. So just all I have to say that sometimes the people that's in your camp ain't really for you. Donald Trump was a mess, and this is a clear indication that people want to bring him and the people who were with him to justice, and I feel like it's appropriate.
Yeah, so check this out. We know that Liz Cheney don't like Donald Trump.
No.
And she's on the January 6th committee, right? Also, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, he don't like Donald Trump. He's on the committee as well. But there were 7 others: Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, Jamie Butler of Washington State, John Kakko of New York, Nancy Mace of South Carolina. I was really surprised about that South vote. And 2 from Michigan, Peter Mayer and Fred Upton of Michigan. Both of them from Michigan, and all 9 voted with the Democrats. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. And now that this referral has passed the House, it heads to the Justice Department. Doesn't go to the Senate. It heads to the Justice Department. Of course, the Attorney General is a Biden appointee, and the Attorney General will ultimately decide whether to bring charges that could result in jail time or fines, because Steve Bannon would not come before that committee and tell the truth.
No, and let me tell you something. You said it earlier with the South Carolina delegate that it's very surprising, because that state, if you don't know how red that state is, and for them to be on that, that it was something really, I have my high school education from the state of South Carolina. I'm still trying to get Strom Thurmond's name off my diploma. I'm like, so for her to actually be, it's very rare that you see some of these Republicans siding with the sides of Democrats, but it's that day and age. A lot of things are going to change, and hopefully this is bringing on new change, because that was just crazy what they were doing.
I hope you're right, because a lot of the Republicans, like the Senate Minority Leader, who's really acting like the Majority Leader, McConnell, is saying, well, let's just move on. We just need to move on. And that's crazy. Even, and to the point, Rudy, that even the former Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, was on The View the other day, and she said almost the exact same words. It's time to move on. And it's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you can't move on. You can't forget that. And even though my therapist says stop rewinding,
we need to rewind this way.
We got to rewind. Some things you just got to rewind.
You are absolutely right. This is bananas.
No, it's crazy. And I'm telling you, like, I think that, it's just like I said, that whole presidency, we haven't even gotten a chance to really dive into what Biden is doing right now, because we're still dealing with the residual from that Trump administration. Luckily for us, it was only 4 years, but the things that they did and the atrocities, they got to be, dealt with. And everyone who's involved with it needs to be taken care of. So I just hope it comes out better for all of us as a people.
I'm with you. I really am. I just think that, and there's so much stuff that needs to be done, not the least of which are the policing bills, the voting reforms bills, and it's we're the ones that put him in there.
Yeah.
We need to get something for our vote.
Yes.
And especially living in a state like Texas, where they are running roughshod over voter elections, and what we can and cannot do. So I'm harping on that every day, all day, every day, Rudy.
Yes, I'm harping with you.
I feel it.
George, take another vacation.
He's working.
Wait a minute, does he get paid for this?
Oh, if George got paid for this, he would be here.
Okay. Listen, that's why I accepted it. I was like, let's do this for Sybil, because I know if George is doing it, he's going to get paid. It's free. He's doing it for free.
He's doing it for the love of the game.
We all love you, though, Sybil.
Well, I love you guys for doing this. Yeah. I appreciate you more and I miss you. Rudy and I used to work on I was on the Jordan Show, and Rudy was on the Doug Banks Show, and we would see each other every morning.
Yes.
Right. But we never had a chance to work together. And then sometimes, Rudy just would appear like on a Friday morning when he was promoting a gig or something in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that was really the only time that we got to work with each other. But, you and Yolanda have worked together and everything. So
it's simple. You would give these amazing, uncomfortable hugs that would last 30 to 40 seconds.
You know what? You are the only man to say that because most men go, that's it?
Yeah. I'll be like, you good? You got it all? Is it all right?
You got a great back.
And I loved it. I was like, I love me some Sybil.
and you were known for your hugs too. Shout out to Stephanie Williams and to Marcelina.
Oh, yes. Look, I was a hug.
You are so silly. You are so silly. Okay, so I know that you're probably one of those guys. You work out and you exercise. And do you eat well too?
So let me tell you something. I want to I don't think I'm gonna write a book about it, but let me tell you what people need to understand. And this is just from my personal experience. Someone will come on and say, no, you gotta go by the blood type and blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah.
I really truly believe everything that you love and you like in your life, you need to indulge in. I'm talking about everything from alcohol, from and sometimes alcohol is a thin line depending on who you are and how you're built. But I'm really talking to the food, the pizza, the burgers, and everything like that. I do all of that, but I do it all in moderation. There's times I leave a half a burger. I'm not one of those crazy people who take off the bun. No, give me the bun. I'll eat half the burger. I won't eat a whole pizza like I used to. I'll eat maybe a few slices of a pie that I purchased. It's all about moderation and also working out. So I do eat healthy in between moderation. So I don't eat bad stuff every day. I do eat some healthy salads and some other healthy choices, but there 3 or 4 times a week, I may indulge in something I like, or may have a piece of candy bar or pastry or something like that. But I work out, but it's all in moderation. And I went from 236 pounds when I was at my heaviest, and now I'm at 200.
Okay. And it's a good looking 200, man. I just
It's all right. I got you. I'm trying.
So I'm asking you about food because the CDC has announced there's a salmonella outbreak and it's linked to onions.
Wow.
Are you an onion guy? Do you put onions on your burger or your pizza or salads?
My mother cooks a lot with onions, so I've was raised eating onions. It's not a big deal for me, and what we need to understand is when the CDC says don't eat this because there's a problem with it, you probably shouldn't, because they give us so many other things that are bad for us that send us to the doctor and stuff. When they say something wrong, you better pay attention and don't eat it. So, I think we'll
bad.
I think we'll live, because they took wings away from us for a minute.
Yeah. There's some bad chicken wings. But this outbreak has now reached 37 states.
Wow.
Over 600 cases, 129 hospitalizations, and they say that it's the fresh whole onions imported from Mexico by this company called ProSource are linked to the illness and should not be eaten, sold, or served. And they're advising consumers to throw out the unlabeled onions and sanitize any surfaces that may have come in contact with the produce.
Wait, what's that company's name again?
It's called ProSource Inc.
Babe, we got ProSource. We just had you just made me an onion sandwich.
You better be good. You better be good, because there'll be some ProSource stuff coming into the house. These are whole onions. And so now, as I said, 37 states, 652 illnesses, and the tainted produce was last imported August 27th. So we're talking a couple of months ago, but salmonella is no joke. They say people who have symptoms like fever higher than 102, the ever-loving diarrhea that lasts more than 3 days, and other signs of dehydration. If you have these and you have had some whole or had the white onions, yellow, red, and white onions, please be careful and take them back to the store. Get your money back or toss them if it doesn't really matter.
Look, Sybil, there's some black people who ate them onions like, at least I ain't got COVID. I'm good.
You are so stupid.
Maybe you need to eat some of that to help you. I don't need no vaccine. I got the onion.
From Chihuahua, Mexico, no less.
Yeah.
All right, so please be careful, ladies and gentlemen. We in the newsletter we give a lot of updates on food recalls and things like that, and so this is the latest, but it's no joke, and so please be careful. It's now time for us to take a deeper dive into one particular question of the day. It's called "What's Really Going On," Rudy, and I want you and the folks that are listening to us to jump in and participate in this, because check this out. I was in Walmart today. And I'm walking through the aisles, and I had my earbuds in, but I could hear a song, and I was like, "What is that?" And 5 golden rings. It was a Christmas carol. Wow. It was the 12 days of Christmas. I was like, "I'll be darned. The Christmas songs are playing."
At
Yes.
this time,
Yes.
it ain't even Halloween yet.
I know. Check it out. So, and I tried to record it, but it didn't come off well on my phone. But son of a gun, they were singing the 12 Days of Christmas. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, dang, we've been doing stories how because of the loaded ships that are just at the ports and they're not making it because of the coronavirus, or when they do make it to the States, they just sit unloaded because you don't have enough people, and then the trucks and all of this stuff. So we're telling people in the news, if you see something now that you want for Christmas or for your kids, get it, because the slowdown is real, and as well as the prices are going to be jacked up. We're not going to have those Black Friday sales. They're having them now. So my question to you, Rudy Rush, and to the folks, is this too soon? I think so, but bring it on. We need the Christmas spirit. But tell us, Rudy, who or what you'd like to find under your Christmas tree.
Well, let me tell you something right now. I would like to find some peace and happiness under my Christmas tree, because my life is pure madness right now. But I will say this. A lot of people don't understand, the commercialization of Christmas is a real thing. And honestly, we missed a year. And this is the true indication of showing people this is what happens after you miss a year of Christmas. Because I know everybody was thin in the pocket, or at least not able to even meet with family members to exchange gifts last year. So now they're ramping things up and starting Christmas early. But the problem I have is I can buy a $99 pallet from Amazon that has about $4,000, $5,000 worth of, but I can't sell a brick of cocaine in my neighborhood.
Where's the justice?
Where's the justice? This one transaction. I gotta have people. I gotta set up a website and I got an iPod, iPad. I just want to sell one brick.
You're not even going for the weed. You went straight for the cocaine.
I know, I did. Let me tell you something. That's the people from Stars. That's 50 Cent fault. I'm watching.
Okay.
Sorry.
You way into the Raising Canaan.
I think I'm Tariq.
That's New York. That's New York for you. That is New York. We'll talk about that show when we get to entertainment. I'm curious your thoughts on it. But you have a kid. So what is Christmas like in terms of? Are you one of those dads that baby girl wants this? Let's give her the world, or do you hold back a little bit, or how's that work?
So I have two girls, 15 and 5, and I learned a lot with the first. So the 15-year-old almost probably, had a birthday at 1 that she didn't remember. Big birthday party at 2 that she didn't remember. 3, she didn't remember it. So now, my 5-year-old, she's getting all the good stuff now. She's 5 years old, so she has a great memory. She's done, so I don't overindulge in the girls. I do a lot of things that they like books and maybe experiences with their dad, you know what I mean? But and I have to apologize to my mama. I get a lot of things, both of them things that they need. So they get a lot of socks and drawers from daddy.
Oh, how exciting.
Hey, and if you ever had a 5-year-old girl, she's gonna run through some drawers, okay? That girl that ran through 6 packs of drawers. I mean, a 12-pack. I'm like, we got to throw these out. Yeah, we got to get rid of these.
So you wrap up the 12-pack.
Yes.
And the socks and
yes.
And so what was last Christmas like in the middle of the pandemic?
So it wasn't as tough as people, because sometimes, you got a chance to be closer to your family. So the one thing that I did, I thought that I was going to make this kitchen that my daughter wanted a reality. I was going to play Santa's elf. So around 2:00 in the morning, I got up to put this kitchen together. I'm glad I got up at 2 instead of 3, because it took all that time to put it together. I had to go out to Walmart to get a drill, because they have pieces I ain't have. but that was a lesson. But she really enjoyed it. Still uses it up until this day. She really loves, I eat at her kitchen all the time.
Uh-huh.
And so, the oldest, they just want clothes,
Right.
shoes, and stuff. So it gets a little easier when they get a little bit older in age, in the teens.
Mhm.
But the young one, all she needed was that kitchen, and I bought something from Amazon that had all the little food pieces.
Oh yeah.
Which, I done ate 100 fake hot dogs, 600 cabbages. So yeah, but she loves it, so I did good.
That's awesome. So let me tell you a story. I've told this on the Joyner Show. My dad, when you put out the milk and cookies for Santa, my dad would say, Santa likes the cookies, but he's not so crazy about the milk. Santa likes scotch. I was like, okay. So one Christmas, I was supposed to get from Santa the kitchen ensemble, the refrigerator, the stove, the what else? Oh, the wash, the sink, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Santa was overserved with the scotch apparently, and wasn't able to get to all of the pieces that he intended to give me for Christmas. So for Christmas, I got the refrigerator. That was the one piece Santa got and the elves got to put together. Then for Easter, I got another piece.
Took them that long to put it.
And then for my birthday in August, I got a third piece. So finally, the whole collection came together.
I'm going to tell you this, Sybil, because sometimes we hold on to things. This is what I've learned in therapy. But honestly, to your father's defense, even without the scotch, that was an undertaking of epic proportion, because these things, they come with a bit of instruction, but then you get confused because they got it in Spanish.
Right.
It took me 4 to 5 hours to put this little kitchen together.
Yep.
But you did love your refrigerator.
Oh
right?
my God. I loved the refrigerator. And then when I got, the Easter segment of it, that was great. And because I didn't know what I was getting that Christmas morning anyway.
Yeah.
So I was happy with the refrigerator. My mother, however, was a little disappointed in Santa.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know how that goes.
Because he promised us it would be done, and it wasn't done.
Exactly. So let me ask you this: as someone who receives gifts, what or who would you like to find under your Christmas tree?
You know what's so funny? And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I always tell my kids, and even friends of mine, I'm not really big into gifts, because I came up not having a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that we were so dirt poor that we couldn't have anything. My mother made Christmas happen for us each and every year. I mean, she pulled all her resources together and made it happen.
Sure.
But I really like the phone calls. I really like the handmade gifts, the small little tokens of, I was thinking about you. You go to that whole thing, it's the thought. So I really kind of tend to do that, but I will accept gift cards.
You and your daughter,
I think. You get a gift card. I realize now, because I used to think I didn't like gifts. I like gift cards to my favorite places. So a place where I can get a massage, or maybe somewhere I can get a steak. Something good though. Don't give me no janky $20 or $5. Somebody gave me a $5 gift card to Quick Trip gas station. I was like, what is that?
Well, let me ask you, was that the best the person could do? No.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe. Look, I'm just thinking because they owe me about $100. Yeah,
so it was a $5 down payment on that hun.
It was a prelude to asking me for $100.
You see, times are hard for me, so
yeah.
Oh, my girl Joylyn Wright never disappoints. She's on Facebook and she says she'd like to find a husband under her Christmas tree. I'm not mad at you, Joylyn. Now that comes with a lot of responsibility, but you grown.
If she's willing to dip into that 401k, I'll be your man. Help support some of my shows.
Joylyn, you got a good man, and he'll keep you laughing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I understand. Dora Levette Tiggs on Facebook says, "I like to find a cure for cancer under that Christmas tree." I understand that absolutely. This is the month of breast cancer awareness, and that is what
Yes,
how I lost my mom, and so that is something near and dear to my heart. I understand absolutely, Dora. Thank you so much, and let's all pray for that cure.
yes, yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. I like the idea of telling stories about those Christmases and things like that. So we'll do that as we get through the season. Was there one memorable Christmas or, that stands out in your mind?
yes. There was a Christmas, and I think it was. I'm trying to think because my younger brother, I have two younger brothers, but the first, my middle brother, he wasn't born yet. So it had to be 78, 79. Linda, my mother,
Mhm.
told my sister and I, she was like, listen, she sat us down and told us it's hard. Your fathers ain't doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. Christmas is gonna be a little tight. So
Mhm.
probably up until that point, that was probably the most sleep I got on Christmas night because I didn't anticipate getting anything.
Right, right. You didn't
It's
you
all.
were looking to
I wasn't anticipating nothing. I don't know what she did, but we woke up the next morning, and I'm telling you, it may have been our most, I mean, the most we've gotten on Christmas ever. I mean, I got
Oh.
baseball back. It was a bike. There was so many things, and my mother had just finished wrapping the gifts, so she wasn't even in her room. She was laid out on the couch. We had a
Uh-huh.
big living room in this two-family home we lived in, and we got in there. She was laid out on the couch sleeping because she was so tired because she wrapped all the
Oh.
gifts overnight. And all I could tell my sister, I was like, "What you think she did for all these gifts?"
You are so wrong.
She out there,
How old were you that you had something
what
like
did she have to do to get
that's
these
grown
gifts?
folks' business, boy. Just enjoy your bike.
Look, they've been knocking at the door. Hey, yeah, remember that bike?
Thank your uncle, Mr. Paul.
So that was one of my great memories. We got so
Oh,
much and we didn't expect anything. That was always the best when you expect nothing and you get more, way more than you thought you anticipated getting. It was great.
yeah, yeah, that's really sweet.
Hmm.
Do you share that? Do you and your siblings share that?
Yeah, we
Those kind of
laugh and we
memories?
joke. Yeah, they think, it's hard being a comedian in your family because everything you say is like, everything's not a joke.
Well, for me it is.
Okay.
And you can thank that iPod I just got you or that 70-inch TV that
No,
you got.
that 3 month mortgage I paid when you didn't tell me, like you need to tell me you back 3 months. That came
Okay.
from being funny. Let's laugh about that.
Okay. What's funny? That's funny. CM Williams on Facebook said, "Coming from New York City, one of the best Christmases I ever had was spent in the South. No snow and warm weather.
Oh,
Do you miss that?"
no, you know what? That's the one thing I do miss about not being in New York. I mean, Christmas is snow. Christmas
Hmm.
is in New York City, it's very rare that they shut the city down. But I remember times where we had so many inches of snow, 4 to 10 inches of snow, that they would shut the city down. And I'm telling you, it was a playground. You could jump out of a 3-story building and land in some snow and still live to tell it. And you think I'm playing, but it really happened.
That's
And so
crazy.
it was a great time to be young. I think one of my fondest memories, my brother, I joke about it because his hands, I don't know, he had on gloves, but he had this little squeal he did because his hands got frozen. He was like, "Ma, take him upstairs because I need
Okay,
to be
he's
out
he's
here."
he's ruining my high here
He
and
really is.
snowing.
But no, I love the snow. That's the one thing I miss is the snow. And my girls got a chance to remember when it snowed one Christmas here in
Yes.
Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are watching, we I live in Dallas, and it snowed here, and my girls got a chance to experience that. So I was very grateful for that. It was really awesome to have them see the snow.
Yeah, I do go home to Chicago at Christmas time, and it's like 24 to 36 hours, Rudy, and then I'm out. But for that moment, the snow, the cold, all of that, I'm down
Yes,
for it. And to see my godchildren and stuff, and see them open their gifts and things, and a lot of gifts. But
yes,
that's pretty. That's really good. That's all
yeah.
I need. You know,
No, I need 3 days tops. I really like 2, but people like to keep you for 3. 2
All
days
right.
and I'm gone. I go to New York for 2 days. I'm like, all right, that was fun.
Next.
Next.
Now it's time to go to Vegas.
Okay.
Well, that's what we're thinking, and we're going to continue our conversation throughout the season, obviously, as we get closer to the holidays themselves. But I'm just starting to get, I mean, I got warmed up for the season, I guess, by hearing the 12 Days of Christmas at Walmart today. So,
Yeah.
that was a trip for me. Anyway, it's time for what you need to know. And that, of course, is our newsletter, Rudy, and it is absolutely free. We ask people to go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to the newsletter, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning, first thing. And we have lots of great things in there, especially as they apply to the African American community. That's what we learned from Tom Joyner, and it is something that we are carrying through these days as Tom is enjoying his days of leisure and retirement.
Okay.
Oh
Where he at?
man! Oh
What he
my!
doing?
Oh my God! You don't even want to know.
That guy. I can only imagine.
My God! Think about Doug Banks and then multiply that like 10
Oh no,
times.
his neighbors right now are petitioning. They signed a silent petition to get him removed from the neighborhood. I'm sure.
He is living his life,
He deserves it, though. He deserves it.
He really does. I mean, Rudy, he's taking a residency in another city so he can go see shows and things like that. Yeah.
You see,
Yeah. It's good living. It's
this
good
guy,
living.
this
It's
guy's too much.
So we have a number of stories. We talk about politics. We talk about social justice in the newsletter, and we also every day we have a coronavirus section. And I want to share the story with you because we all know that when the coronavirus first started, it was called, thanks to the man in the White House, it was called the China virus. And remember all that. So now China has retaliated, and they are pushing their origin theory of where the COVID virus came from. Just take a wild guess. Just any, just it could be as mundane as possible, or it could be as extravagant. Where do you think the Chinese are saying that the COVID virus started?
Trump Towers in New York.
Close, because I bet they serve this in the Trump Tower. They're saying that it's a result of lobsters from Maine.
What?
The Chinese consul tweeted an unfounded claim that COVID-19 could have been imported to China from the United States through a batch of lobsters from Maine shipped to a seafood market in Wuhan, China in November of 2019.
Wow. Now, I hope that's not true, because how many lobsters have I eaten at Martha's Vineyard?
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So obviously, how sick would we all have been? I mean, a lot of us don't get to Martha's Vineyard, but we do go to Red Lobster for Lobster Fest.
My bad. I was there to perform, okay? I was there on business.
So, with some digging, they uncovered a network of more than 550 Twitter accounts, which have been shared, spreading a nearly identical message translated into a multitude of languages, including English, Spanish, French, Polish, Korean, and even Latin. And several times a day, these messages go out and they say, psst, psst. COVID started with Maine lobsters. Pass it on.
Wow.
And it's we don't want to make light of all that people have suffered from this disease, but how crazy it's as crazy as all of the stuff that Donald Trump was doing, telling people to drink bleach.
Yeah, it's like a high school rumor. There was this one girl I went to high school with. I didn't kiss her in the mouth just because of the rumors that was going around. I just went for the neck. He's like, I really like. I was like, yeah, I'm a neck kisser.
It's a bad game of telephone.
Terrible.
That's very funny. That sounds like an episode of the current Wonder Years.
Okay.
So, one of the stories that as I mentioned, we talk about politics a lot, and a lot of disappointment, I will say, from yours truly regarding the lack of action and movement on the part of the Biden administration regarding these policing rules. As we call the George Floyd policing law, or the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Okay, and another thing that the Democrats are having a hard time with is Biden's Build Back Better plan, right? Because it was ambitious when he started it as a candidate.
Yes.
Now we're looking at it as the president, and $3.5 trillion. That's a lot of money, and a lot of people are scoffing at that amount of money. Namely, the Democrat in name only, Joe Manchin.
Mm.
Joe doesn't like anything. He doesn't
No.
want to get rid of the filibuster. He doesn't want to help you get rid of the filibuster. He'll help you, but not really help you. He'll get Republicans, but he ends up not getting any Republicans, on their side. So he and Kirsten Sinema are two of those who are pushing back on this budget, the Build Back Better plan, which covers a lot of things. The child tax credit. It covers a lot of the things that have been that should be extended as a result of coronavirus. And Manchin doesn't want to do anything more than a million. I'm sorry, $1.5 trillion. So they're about $2 trillion off.
Well, let me tell you something. That man, you said it right. He don't like nothing. He don't even like his mama. He said she's cool. She all right. But I do agree to the point we have to stop raising the debt ceiling unless it really helps. We keep doing it, and those PPP loans was one small indication of how the mismanagement of government funds can be just really misused, because there were so many people just out here playing, and I think it was a ploy to honestly get dishonest or close to that line of people incarcerated or whatever. I don't know what it was, because it wasn't going to proper. You could just show an ID and get a PPP loan. But we do have to stop raising the national debt. The U.S. dollar is really not as good as we think it is or was.
Oh, yeah.
And we really got to figure out, because it really means a lot to us, because we're the one. It's our money. We can't go anywhere or do anything, and our money is not working for us like it used to.
Right, for sure, and we don't want to leave as much debt, but for our children, but we also want to leave them with clean air, and not have to suffer from what is moving forward, and hoping to put the brakes on the climate change that's going on, because that's really big. So one of the things that they are planning to cut out of, which the progressives have been pushing for, but the conservatives like Manchin and Sinema are saying no, they would like to cut out the free community college. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing about this, Rudy, is pointed out in the article, is that they're cutting out free tuition for community colleges. I'm just wondering, when President Biden goes upstairs and talks to the missus, and she says, "How was your day, dear?" And he says, "Well, Dr. Biden, community college instructor for the last 30 years, we're going to cut out the program to give your kids free community college, where you have been an instructor for all these years." How does that go over?
Look, he ain't gonna have waffles in there. I'll tell you that. Waffles come with care.
Are we calling it waffles now?
No waffles for you, brother. But I think it's crazy that they're taking all of this. That's the one thing. And let me tell you, a lot of people are finding a lot of new things out about the whole system of higher learning, I should call it. Yeah. And a lot of people taking alternative routes, and I think people graduating is down, administration, people like applying to college is down, and they need to do something. It needs to be much more free, or at least a lot less expensive than it is.
Yeah.
And my cousin Tyreek, please don't cut off the funding to his barber school, because he need a job.
Okay, and that's real.
He need that scholarship.
That's real.
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's coming out. This is everybody needs, and sister needs their haircut.
Yes.
So
everybody.
Come on, Tyreek. Come on. Let's keep that.
Get that scholarship.
Come on. Let's get that going. One of the other things pointed out in this article is that Joe Manchin really wants less than half of the programs and things to be extended to people. But he represents, check this out, he represents the 6th poorest state in the country out of 50. And if you start with the poorest state, he's number 6, West Virginia.
Wow.
And he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do programs that are obviously going to help his state. And they're in a real Mel of a Hess, as my mom used to say.
They feel like they're going to get their way through it because, them people in West Virginia, they you got brothers and sisters that are married to each other in West Virginia. They think they're going to make it. They're like, we good. We'll get through it.
You're so stupid. West Virginia is in a real bad state. And
it's
this dude,
been real bad.
And he's sitting there going, nope, not going to do it. No. I'm going to be on my yacht and you all are going to, people have taken rowboats to demonstrate and circle around his yacht to tell them how unhappy they are with him.
Now, let me ask you.
And he doesn't care.
Let me ask you this honestly, Sybil. You are a very brilliant person and you've been knowledgeable for as long as I've known you. When has West Virginia been good?
I can't, only in a John Denver song. That's the only Almost Heaven, West Virginia. But that's as far. You're right.
The best thing I can think of West Virginia is when we drove out of West Virginia, like, woo, we out of there. Oh my God. I thought I was going.
Woo, we dodged that state. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, I'll accede to you there. Absolutely. I don't know anything. So let me tell you about what's going on in crazy Tennessee. This Black preschool teacher in Tennessee, his name is Carl Gillette in Knoxville. No, I'm sorry. This was a shadow person, and the preschool teacher was shadowing a Black teacher, and assigned to shadow Gillette as part of her training, and started to take a sour turn in the training when the new hire talked about race and said she doesn't like Black people to the Black teacher who is showing her around and how to maneuver in this school.
Yeah.
And so he's like, should you be talking about this? And she went on, and it was just like, it was almost like it was a bad Saturday Night Live skit, right? And so finally he went to the principal and goes, you know she's a racist, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? She sees Black people and she don't like them. And they're like, oh, something went wrong in the interview process.
But wait, but let me tell you, Sybil, I gotta take a page out my mama book, because my mama is from the hood. I wouldn't call her hood, but she from the hood. And this is the question we would ask, like, well, how light-skinned was the Black teacher for her not to notice that? Because apparently that lady had to be light enough for her to think that she could say that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Unbelievably crazy.
Yes, it's just, and doesn't it amaze you sometimes that these Karens, even to this day, they don't get it. They just like, well, I'll just tell them I don't like you people.
Somebody told me one time they don't like comedians. I was standing there like this. What the hell does that mean about us? You know what I do, right?
Okay. This is, allows me to buy you dinner as a matter of fact. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So that's the kind of stuff we talk about on the newsletter, and also when you go to the grocery store, be ready for the Procter & Gamble products to be higher, Rudy. They've already advised people the prices are going up on your Tide, your Gain, your diapers, your Gillette razors, you name it, from the head to the tail. All of these things that are Procter & Gamble products are on the rise.
Well, for everybody listening to that, listen to what Sybil just said. Everything from the head to the tail, but let's start off with the tail, because some of y'all need to get your tails clean before you do anything else. But then the toothpaste. Hey, just get yourself squared away.
Okay, it's the toothpaste, and it's
and
as you move on down,
your mouth
get it all straight. All straight. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk a little entertainment here, Rudy. And
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not a big Judge Judy fan. I never was. I knew people that watched her and recorded her stuff, but I never really watched. Were you a Judge Judy fan?
You know what? I watched it, like you said. I didn't like Judge Judy till later on that I could understand that it was all like smoke and mirrors and more
Mm-hmm.
like her attitude toward. I didn't like the lady when I thought she was real, like a real
Mm-hmm.
person. I said she was very rude, not, she didn't want to hear anybody out. But I realized that she did that to build her empire, so I'm not mad at her.
Right. So her bailiff Bird, Mr. Bird. Remember
Yeah,
him, the
yeah,
brother?
yeah.
Okay. So she is moving on with a new TV show without Bailiff Bird.
What?
Petrie Hawkins Bird says he has not been invited to join the judge's newest show, Judy Justice.
Now you know that's
25 years.
wow. That's got to be personal though, because all he did was this.
That's right, Your Honor.
Right. Hey, brother, back up. Hold on.
Now, how could you not love that, right? He don't back talk to you. He doesn't,
No.
So 25 years with the syndicated show Judge Judy. She's launching Judy Justice, and it's going to start in November. But she's also switching bailiffs, replacing Bailiff Bird, who served as her bailiff for all 25 years, with a new bailiff named Kevin Rasco. And this was not Bailiff Bird's choice not to join her. But this is the really, really sad part. His wife apparently worked on the show as a producer, and she got very sick, and she subsequently died at the end of Judge Judy. And then he found out he wasn't going to be able to go with Judge Judy to the next show.
That's like a double whammy. So what's the new guy's name?
His name is Kevin Rasco. I haven't seen him. But
that dude. Listen, I ain't trying to put Judge Judy business out there, but Kevin Rasco sounded like he was like, "Hey, listen, what's up? Yeah, let me watch your back for you."
yeah, Judy Justice.
Okay.
Let me be your bailiff. And
okay,
so
you seen Judge Judy's husband? He a little dude. He
yeah.
done.
Oh yeah. He's just
He
just
been
like
done 10 years ago. I hate to see him now.
Okay. And they're both about 80 years old. So
But she kept herself up.
She does look pretty good. Yeah. He said she informed me I was not being asked to come along on the project. A conversation he had with Shenlin when he asked her if he'd be joining her on Judy Justice, and he recalls she told him he was priced out as the new bailiff on her show. My salary would have been too much. But how would she know? Because she didn't even ask. She didn't give an opportunity to have accepted a lower salary. Now, her salary,
Millions of dollars.
$40 million a year, over 40 million a year.
But you know what? I'm going to say this. A lot of people get outpriced, and it's unfair because, like you said, like you're alluding to, his salary was probably nowhere near. But he was next on the list.
Yeah.
Whatever she was getting, they looked at his, and she was like, how can I get some of that into my pocket?
Some more. Yeah.
Some more. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But, that's horrible if that's the case. But that's what happens in a lot of places. And you and I both know, being in the business with people and they see that big dollar sign and they have more than enough, but they take more.
Yeah. And everybody has the right when they, get an opportunity to do something else. Everybody has the right to say, I want something new, whether it's a marriage or it's a radio show. You're so silly.
Look, I had to go outside real quick to come back.
You are so silly. But whatever it is, whatever blows your skirt up, Judge Judy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Are you a big football fan?
Yeah, you know what? I love football. I'm a bigger basketball fan, but I do follow football, and so I do like football. Yes.
Do you have a team?
I was once a fan of the Washington football team, which was formerly, the but now they are Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like watching football and seeing who's new. I like what Tom Brady's doing because the older I get, he's playing for me.
Yeah.
That's the team, the geriatrics.
Yeah, a lot of folks are saying that, and he's, got a lot more life in him. But have you been following the John Gruden story?
Whoa, who hasn't now?
Okay.
That's not football. That's a life story right there.
Yeah. He says we haven't heard the real story yet, and the truth will come out.
Well, if the truth is going to come out, it's going to come out about everybody else saying the same things. Emails are what they are. And, I've had a position on it myself. I feel like this. There are African Americans, Latinos, Asians. We all say things in the privacy of our home, even sometimes through text messages and things. So I'm not so much, I would like to see circumstances where people came and said, John Gruden did this. He took my job away because I'm Black, or I'm, I would like to hear something like that, and then use something like this to kind of, make your statement stick.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like that's how all of those coaches and all of those guys talk. Especially those higher ups in the NFL.
Yeah, the general managers and the team owners and all of that.
And I'm going to do everyone a service right here on your show, Sybil. I'm going to take Black people out of it. How they treat the LGBT community, how they treat women, different, like they are just these good old boys who don't play fair with anybody. You're right. It's not a Black issue. It's not about racism. It's about these people have the power, and this is how they talk to one another as it pertains to everyone. And I like this situation more than anything else because it's not just pinpointed, like I just said, at race or anything else. It's about everybody.
That's right.
It's a bad
nobody's exempt from any of this.
Exactly.
Nobody's exempt.
He's Dave Chappelle.
But he doesn't have the Netflix money or the special. But he did
John Gruden his own special.
He did pretty well for himself. Rudy, every day we have in the newsletter, and we close out our radio show with this Yogi's Jewel. It's a daily affirmation. Okay. And so I want to leave this with you. Remember, the only difference between humans and animals is that we are driven by reason and logic as opposed to instinct. So be gentle to the animals.
She must not have met that girl I dated from Louisiana. Look, Sybil, I tried to break up with her. She was like, what was that? I said, you'll find out in the morning.
Oh my God. The gree-gree.
Okay. My arms as short as I don't know what. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, Rudy, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, sweetie. Will you come back?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, Sybil. Thank you. Don't wait a few months to do it. All
right? I promise we will not. What you doing next week?
Thank you. There you go. Now I would love to. Thank you so much.
Okay, sweetie. Thank you so much, Rudy. Follow Rudy Rush on Instagram and Facebook and as well as MySpace. And we will see you all later. Bye-bye.